Are you ready to get provoked? You're listening to Can I Live, a show created to excite, ignite, and expose. Let's tune in with your host, R.W. Jones. Welcome to the Can I Live podcast. I'm your host, R.W. Jones, and we have the wonderful Glenn Warren from Fathers Forever. Say hello to Glenn.
Hello. Hello, y'all.
Yes, and then we got Anthony James also in the building. Thank you, Anthony, for being here. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, people? How y'all doing?
So today we are talking about big butts and poop butts. Now, I don't know, maybe it's just my fascination with big butts because there's something about, and hopefully we can crack it because I got two gentlemen up here that I'm sure as Black men love big butts. But I'm going to need y'all to explain to me about the big butts. Maybe we and some of these ladies, maybe y'all can help me with the poop butts. But it basically is, did one night of passion ruin your life forever? And if so, did you make that same mistake again and again? Is big butts like just like you can't resist it? And it makes you just do stupid things like, you know, go raw dog and have another baby and then another baby and you and the next big butt having another baby. So I really have to get to the bottom of the fascination behind Black women's derrieres. And does that make you a pooper ultimately? You know, to be so driven by just this exterior portion. I have a problem where, you know, of all the races, of all the nationalities, ethnicities, you do not find anybody, I dare you, let me find a Chinese person in G-string and thong or getting butt implants or butt shots. An Indian, a Pakistani, I don't know, Pakistani, who else is it? Arab, they're not. Probably get stoned to death. They're not. White women, you don't even see that often. So I'm trying to figure out who did we allow to serve us this narrative that Black women was just that when you see a Black woman, the next thing is like, look at her ass. She got a fat ass though. You know, as long as she got a fat ass, she good. And obviously that stereotype or that narrative has fed through and festered in our communities to the degree, you know, that some women are out here straight getting butt implants. What is that? The videos with the fix-a-flats. People are getting pumped in their asses with fix-a-flat and getting these crazy pumpkin booties. And I'm like, yo, you literally are laying on a hotel bed with somebody pumping something in your behind. I'm trying to understand who and what have we done to play into this narrative? Because at the end of it, if men are, you guys got to tell me the Black woman's derriere is that damn fascinating. And that's what Black men look for when they looking at a Black woman. And then let not a woman have a fat ass. Let her butt just not be that little pumpkin booty, that little, what they call that booty. That's like the little perfect. It used to be the apple bottom, but it's like, it just looks like a plum. And I'm like, it might look cute, but tell me if that's like, I mean, I might be a little vibes, but talk to me, because I don't want to get nobody in trouble. Anthony, talk to me.
Well, with my observation of what you just said, and you know,
Why did you laugh?
Huh? Because it's crazy. And you know, why not laugh? It's not funny, but the way you said it, you know what I mean? Because it's just out of control. It's been out of control, man. Ever since the pan, you go on a strip club, you know, the women are twerking and dropping it like it's hot for dollars. So they think that's cool.
That's what sells. That's what men want to see, big asses. I'm just trying to understand like what I guess white women like breasts. Why that's like, you know what I just heard? Like what white women have to do with breasts. Like they would get a breast implant versus before they get a booty implant. So maybe it's just the appetite of men.
Nah, well, I just think, well, people like some men like butt, some guy like breast, but it's just a lustful situation that's going on that's out of control, and people are
Lustful.
nasty with it. That's the bottom line. They just
Was
nasty
you
with it.
the question? Wait, somebody's like the question is, was you nasty with it?
Of course, I was.
So
I
then,
that
what
was
was it? I
that
mean,
was
you
the
seen
that
it.
was
You've
the
been on the block.
listen.
You know what it is.
That was the lust. That was the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes. Period. You
Wait,
know what I'm saying? It was a lust. That's all it
Glenn
is.
looking like I don't know what they talk about.
But that's what it was. It was lust. And what else is gonna be? Come on now. It's lust, and sin feels good. Sin feels good. So when you look at a black man or whatever man, I'm gonna say a black man's, I'm gonna keep it on me. When I was out there doing what I was doing, even now to this day, I just think you have to be trained. You know what I mean? Because if I see a woman with a nice shape, I I purposely look away. That's for me. Because if I stare too long, my mind just start going like, yo, listen. And I don't even need that. I have a beautiful woman, but at the end of the day, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, you start looking, your mind is going to be going all over the place. I don't care what man you are, you can be Bishop Tutu. If you look at that tail long enough, you're going to be in that tail mentally, emotionally.
Mentally.
Bottom
Mm.
line, bottom line. So it's lust. It's lust.
Wow.
That's what it is.
But I think we've always been fascinated. I mean, I think from the Pam Grier, Foxy, you know, she's a brick house. Yeah, we have these exteriors that's voluptuous and juicy, you know, and great to look at. I feel like there's something happening that maybe we're not paying attention to because I just don't understand why Black women, why are we doing
Well,
this? Nobody else is doing this.
we've been turned out. Our race of people, the women has been sold, turned out, and so it's good for them now. They feel that's their worth. That's their worth. Their body is their worth. And so they flaunt it the way they flaunt it, which, and it's a shame. You got people now with poles in their house now. They learning how to climb poles and stuff. So it's out of control to the point where
I mean, I get it. I get it. I get it. Whereas
and that's a low self-esteem situation too. That's a very low self-esteem when you gyrating out there. You know, one thing I can say about the Muslim community, I appreciate seeing those Black women. People talk about the Muslim community. Man, they cover their whole body. They cover everything. So you just gonna have imagination on what that is.
Would you want your wife to be covered up like that?
But she ain't got to be covered. I'm glad she's mature enough not to do. She ain't. I don't think she's gonna put on a turban or any of that. But she's not out there gyrating either, though.
But let me tell you something. I think here's the thing, ladies, because a man ultimately, and Glenn, you can help me out. Every man wants a sexy woman. And right. So I don't know too many men, particularly in our culture, that just want to look at their women wearing like this huge fur turtleneck sweater all the way down, big sweatpants all the time to the floor. You know, you like, you know, because then you were like, you can't do nothing with yourself. You can't do nothing.
But you got to understand,
you know,
Raquel,
you want to look at something sexy.
You got to understand this. It's a course for them to show their body, and they know that. So it looks crazy. It looks crazy when they doing it, but what is the cost of not doing it? You ain't gonna be exploited. You're gonna be talked about, but you ain't nobody gonna see no titty nipples, no ring in your nipples. You ain't gonna see no print of the butt. So they gonna talk crap. Oh yeah, they think they're all that. They covering themselves up. But I promise you, it's worth it. To that man, it's worth it. That is
woman. See, that's another thing. Now that right there, you just said something. So when we're talking big butts and butts, I think that ultimately and I saw this on, I forgot his website. It's on how to value men and how to value men. It was basically saying like Black women, we just doing too much, and we know whether you just big and out of control and all of this stuff. But I do think that maybe our ability to be reckless like that comes from the male not having his rightful place. What do you think, Glenn?
Really? Okay, I'm not. I don't know where to start at.
Well, we're trying to figure out, like, when we're trying to kneel, I guess it's like zeroing down to the behaviors that create the children, because I don't think that it's a child support issue more than its overall lifestyle mindset maturity. It's you, who you are as a person showing up in any situation. Because I would bet that men who take care of their children and pay child support and are responsible probably are responsible on all fronts. But I could be wrong.
I mean, I wouldn't single out Black women as we're the one that's they're the one that's always walking around half naked, half dressed. I mean, women in general, a lot of women do that. Black, white, Hispanic. I mean, especially in the summertime, you see all women do that. Now, naturally,
Well, no,
I do
we just
think,
talk about the butt and like the
yeah,
big,
well,
big
naturally, I
butt,
do,
the
yeah,
fascination.
yeah, I do think Black women have to be seems to have a, you know, a better shape sometimes, and but I don't see the correlation with having a big butt causes men to have unprotected sex, and now they got kids that got accounted for, and we somehow blaming the big butt for that. I don't quite get that. Like you said, and so you see a big butt, and you said, "Man, you made mistakes." You said it earlier. You said, "How many big butts have you made mistakes with?" But those are not mistakes.
Right.
Those are choices.
So it says like one night of passion for a lifetime of hell, was it worth it? Something is driving, okay, so something is driving men to have unprotected sex with women. And I'm not saying it's the women with the way they're provocatively dressed. What I'm saying is in this subculture, because I'm going to call what we're talking a subculture. It is not by any means necessary to, indicative of the Black race. By all means, no way. However, when you're looking at child support statistics, you do see most of the people that are in child support are low income, poor. They're poor. They're broke. They're poor. And they could be poor here, poor in their thinking, poor in their judgment, poor in their value, poor in all of these things. And so the correlation maybe is just a subculture value system issue. And this is one of those things in the value system, because everything is cool in the beginning. You have sex, and then things just go bad. Like,
But every
and I
time,
don't know what that means
but
in
every
terms
time,
of responsibility. Like, right.
yeah, but every time a man have unprotected sex, a woman is there with them. So
Right.
you can't say it's the man's fault because he had unprotected sex. It's both of their decisions to have unprotected sex. So it ain't a man thing, it ain't a woman thing. It's they're choosing to have unprotected sex, knowing the consequences could be I could get pregnant. But people choose that for whatever reason, whether it's lust or whether it's incontrollable. People do that. Whether it's black, white, blue, rich, poor, people make choices, and a lot of times the consequences of the choices, as you know, is now because you have 2 or 3 babies. You would think, I've seen this big booty and I got lost control, and we have unprotected sex, and then I got a baby, and then next 2 years down the road, I see another big booty, I lose control. It ain't the booty that's making you lose control. It's you. It's your choices. It's both of your choices because both of you decided to have unprotected sex. So I can't blame the big booty for me having a child out of wedlock, a child that I'm not married to. It's a
So
combination of both.
you don't see a correlation between I see the big booty, I want to hit it, and I'm gonna hit it raw. But And then that correlation that I'm looking at it that way, and then damn, she got pregnant. That's her problem. Because
Yeah, I mean,
No, I don't. Yeah, but the common denominator is you're not being responsible. You're being an irresponsible person.
right.
Number one, the first one is you had unprotected sex, and then the second one is now you're walking away from your responsibility, and you can't blame the big butt for either one of those. You have to blame your choices. One of the guys
so
in our
what is
class,
it? Is it okay? So let me stop. Let me drill right there. Is it insatiable lust that drives you mad in the middle of that moment where you could do no, you could go the other way, but it's insatiable. It
Yeah.
takes you over the lack of discipline in that moment, and then boom. Or is it because I mean, I like what Anthony said, you look at the tail long enough, you're gonna be in the tail because you're gonna be imagining what it's like. So I don't believe you wake up and pop up and find yourself laid up in something. I don't believe that's how that go. I believe it's you thought about that for a minute before that thing materialized. And so as a man thinketh, so is he. Are we boom? So here's and this is what I understand with the correlation of the whole what you call it, child support responsibility. But I promise you, you take the right mind. Let's take the wrong mind. Let's take a male with just perverted in his thinking, and you could put in front of him a woman dressed in her whole full, Muslim garb, right? Any mind will also start to think, I wonder what's under that. She probably looked like this. She probably looked like that. I bet you she got this. I bet you she ain't got no drawers. I bet you she this, she that, she this. Oh, a perverted mind is going to do that. But initially, I think I heard the brothers say, they don't want their women to even entice such thoughts. Because if the thought is that, come on now, if you're dressed like that, or if you have your come on, if it's there, if you're showing it, it's going to provoke thoughts. And it's the thoughts that everybody cannot tame. They're not disciplined in taming these thoughts. And the thoughts, unfortunately, then have repercussions. So I think trying to catch them to have sex protected, like you ain't grabbed the condom, I think we done missed it. It's too late. Because you done went in a trail of insatiable lust or untamed desires that you cannot control. And so maybe we need to be getting them on thoughts, but then again, how about this? I bet you neither one of you will let your daughter walk out there like that. I bet you neither one of you will want your daughters to go out there and get no butt implants. So what if it was the fact that fathers are not in the home, disciplining their daughters, showing their daughters the right way to uphold yourself, present yourself, be yourself of value. So I think maybe the best, obviously, the damn butt implants is a clear indication the value system is definitely upside down. And the male has failed his job in, imparting that.
Right.
Yeah,
Let me say this,
that might be
Raquel.
all right.
Let me say this, right? Even with the Muslim woman, right? When she got all her garment on and everything from head to toe, the man want her to not to be seductive or not to show any parts, but he's still out there doing him. That's another problem. That's a problem in itself. A lot of men, they don't want their woman to be out there shaking, da da da. Put them in whatever seclusion, but they out there tripping. And then I'm gonna say this: you know how many men in prison bet? They make bets on what they can do when they come outside. How many women they gonna hit? How many women they gonna get pregnant? How many women? That's the problem. So even though child support, whatever, if they land in prison, they done landed another whole situation mentally, because now all they do is brag on how they gonna come home and get another woman knocked up. And
that's
already
that
in trouble.
again. That's the subculture. That's the ignorance. That's
right.
That's the mindset of that subculture, because I promise you, every nationality or culture is not in jail if they thinking that. Like, I don't know, outside of Muslims that practice more than one wife, like if they have their kids, they're gonna take care of them. Now, I'm not saying all Muslims are like that. I'm just saying there is a vast difference in the mindsets. And I don't know if we're talking about a large percentage. I would say so, because you got half of we make a 12% of the population, but almost more than 50% of prison, almost more than 50% of all of these agencies like welfare, public housing, Section 8, we're disproportionately represented. So the subculture is vast, it's big,
Right.
it's very, very large. And if we're going to dissect this issue, and honestly, I'm just throwing all these little topics out to find out where the hell do you start in trying to unravel
Sex education.
So that does bring me to the point that I think our strategy should focus on, maybe like we're like prevention. So I do believe that's why, where is this? The hands-on guide to get your hands off my butt, the hands-on guide to avoiding the welfare system. Free ebook download on my Instagram, but you got to get the hard copy from Amazon. If I could help a mom avoid having a child, particularly Black women or anybody poor, I don't care what nationality is, Latino, if you are indigent poor or even immigrant poor and you get pregnant, you will be on the welfare system. In the story, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You will be there. So if I could prevent a young mom, teenagers, young adults from having a baby before they're responsibly ready to take care of them, and then what have I done? I've actually avoided and prevented a young man from going to the child support system.
Right.
So get your hands on my pocket, the hands on God to avoid the child support system. If I could avoid you going to the child support system, chances are I can avoid you, hopefully. I can't promise the criminal justice system, but I can promise that you will have a better quality of life because you will not be inundated with child support. Having children before you are responsibly ready causes more problems than not. And I guess I am concerned when we look at these big butts and we look at these these women with it's setting a role model for these younger girls out here that's following this lifestyle, thinking that they have to use their body to feel value and to get what they need when they don't. And so I'll take on the prevention. I'll stay on the prevention side. I think Glenn might want to do some suppression, like after they go to court, after they get before the judge or before they get before the judge. Because at that point, it's too late. You done went too far down the rabbit trail. And so maybe, Glenn, you take the suppression with some intervention. But suppression is like you're getting them at the end when it's either this or jail for most of them, correct?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, they could have, when it comes to our program, it's because they have a child and they're not taking care of them. So where they are in a spectrum, whether they have 1 or 2 or 5, we get them because they're not being responsible financially and supporting their children.
But you're getting them through the court system. So are they like court mandated or is it still voluntary?
Yes, no, 95% of them are mandated. Only 5% of them come voluntarily. That means most of the time
that's still good. Let me ask you this. The trends that come voluntarily, what do you see with the ones that come voluntarily? Is there anything that they have in common?
The one that come voluntarily just want to get some knowledge of how to be a good father, or maybe how the system works. 95% of them come because they're made to come. They won't come on their own. But like I said, every now and then, you get a guy that's, I just want to come, I want to be a better father. I want to know how to be a father. But there's very few in between.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
So suppression, I think suppression, and with if I had to do a spectrum, I was prevention, some slight intervention, very slight. Your suppression with some slight intervention, and then Anthony in the middle intervention. I'm just trying to figure out the strategy that we will have to, take on to really get this thing going. Because it is the key to moving a million moms off welfare. So in order to move a million moms off welfare, we have to not just help fathers become better fathers, but prevent young men from becoming fathers before they are responsibly ready.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And sometimes a lot of guys are in our program, maybe they have one child. They don't have 5 or 6 of them. And when we teach them the class, they realize now, oh wow, I don't need to have any more kids. Now they don't have 3 or 4 kids they don't have 3 or 4 different moms now. Some of them might get early, some of them might get when they got 3 or 4 different moms because they don't, but they've been in and out of the system for years, but they still haven't learned the lesson because they still doing the same thing.
I think it's also on a men. I would beg to differ even on the male side because I'm not going to just blame women. Now, I have 4 kids, so hello, 4 by 3 different men. Okay, which then I would then say if I was a dude and I seen that this woman already got 1 child, 2 child, why would I want? She is like real fertile. I'm not gonna have sex with her unprotected unless I have no concept
Lust.
of what it means to be, huh? What you
Lust
say?
takes over. Lust takes over that mindset.
That's true.
Lust takes
Like,
over
I'm
all
about
of
to
that.
bust this nut tonight. I'm about to bust this nut tonight. That's just, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Probably the same thing.
I think, most people say, oh, that's for kids, that's for child. Well, you got to treat some of these men because they act like children. I used to act like a child. That's why I had 3 kids by 3 different women. So the sex education part is huge.
Sex education.
That's huge right now. I think that would be a game changer because they would have to take that course. That would be a wise decision to have them take a course of that to reiterate some of that. You got to try something. You got to try something, and you can
That's
help.
That's kind of cool. I haven't. Didn't they used to have that in school, but it was not what it should be.
Right. It wasn't. They didn't get all graphic. Right. They should. I think that would be a smart, a wise decision for them to go take a sex education course. If before, because half of them don't know what they just having sex. They don't know what love is. They don't know what none of that is. So unprotected sex, they used to show us that STDs and all that stuff, you can catch sexually transmitted diseases. They don't show them that no more. They don't even care about none of that.
But the issue is that they know what produces a child. They know about STD.
I'm just saying. But you still got to reiterate that. I think because ain't nothing else working. What's working?
My pushback to that is they know what sex is. They know at 10 years old, 5 years old, 8, 10, 11 years old, if you have sex, you're going to have a child. So I understand what sex education is, but they know that already. It ain't like that this is, somebody told me if I have unprotected sex, I'm going to have a baby. They know that, but they still doing it. So they don't know it. It's not a lack of. It's not a lack of I don't know what I'm doing. They know what they're doing.
But if you make them take a course of that, they ain't gonna like that.
No, remember the baby that you had to carry the egg around to, and that I don't think the egg was justice. Then they had the real baby that would actually cry, and you had to feed it, and you had to take care of it. I'm not sure, but I don't know what else we could do. However, I guess I was trying to drill down. With the big buzz poop plus, what was it? I definitely
You're breaking up, yeah.
You froze, Raquel.
Oh. Is it still frozen?
Well, your screen is like pixelated a little bit.
Yeah, I see. Can you still see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what happened. I was saying that women's derriere and the need to have this exterior, the need to please the eyes of the black man knowing that in most cases he ain't even covering the way he's supposed to cover, because if he was really covering, you wouldn't even go out the house like that. But yet we still seek that validation. We're still seeking that need to feel beautiful, be loved. And I'm just, it's no different from, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's no blame game for sure, but I could almost promise you that if a woman is out there acting straight careless, you could probably guarantee that the father just wasn't there.
Yeah, a lot of things we talk about is because of lack of the fathers validate. Without the lack of the fathers, the little girl don't feel validated. She don't feel, because nobody there to affirm her and who she is a lot of times. So she wants that attention. And of course, the young guy is telling her, you're fine. And she wants to appeal to that. So now she's taking off clothes because that makes him tell her that she's pretty, she's gorgeous. And she wants that validation. And she's getting it from this teenage boy who want to do one thing, and she's not getting it from her father.
So do you teach that? And when it comes to fatherhood, how a man can be a father in terms of adoration, in terms of
that's one of our classes. That part of your job as a father is to affirm your daughter and your son for that much, but especially your little girl. She should know how to. She should know how to be treated by a man. You show her as a father how a man's supposed to treat you, how your boyfriend's supposed to treat you. Those are the things that they're not getting a lot of time because of the absence of fathers. And the little girl has to get it somewhere else in the streets, in the community, and she does that sometimes by taking off clothes. Angela, can you tell what's going on with this?
Well, that's good.
I think we're talking about, when we were in high school, we had sex education. We did, remember, Raquel, we did the egg thing in health class, right?
Yeah.
We did part of the school year was the health, and the other part was something else, right? Yeah. We learned about the STDs and all that other kind of stuff, right? We learned about pregnancy. When we did the egg project, we had to carry the egg for like 1 week. We had a husband. We had to learn how to budget. We had to learn how to discuss, who's going to do what and whatever, right? But I think the thing that is missing from that, and we need to start young, and maybe in health class, when we're in high school, they need to add a component of parenting. They were teaching us how to budget, how to make decisions in regards to money, but a relationship component needs to be added to that as well. How do we have healthy relationships as parents, in addition to carrying the egg and in addition to the budgeting and all that other kind of stuff? Mm-hmm. Healthy relationships. There needs to be, and it seems odd maybe that we will need to add that in school, but I think it's important. We have to start with them early, because we cannot assume that that those things are being taught at home. Really introducing to the children, the teenagers, that when you cannot learn how to effectively communicate with the other parent, when you cannot learn how to make decisions amongst yourselves and amongst each other, what can end up happening is you can end up in the court system. And this is what happens when you end up in the court system. These are the things that you could potentially experience.
Yeah.
So I think adding in a component in regards to relationships would be helpful, and in regards to actually parenting, co-parenting, because you have to teach kids also, if they happen to be in a single parent household, what do you do?
I do believe the whole it needs to come up, but I would say, I would even be able to say, and I know it's fathers forever, so it kind of has this connotation that it's just for fathers, even though you have a component for moms. But I would probably say, based off of the curriculum, that really probably needs to be maybe a portion, like, I'm not going to say revamp, but maybe like remixed for a health education course to teach that element that Monet is talking about, the missing elements. Because imagine getting that as a young person in high school, not even sex education. I don't know what they would call it. You know, they have these
I
names
mean, they
that's
can still do the sex
consistent
education
with
stuff.
their stupid best practices. I don't even
Yeah.
think they do that. I'm not
Well,
sure. I can't tell you. My kids came home. They do it in high school in some part, but I even thought health education was taken out of the curriculum.
makes sense. That makes sense. But here we are. We talking about grown men that's in child support court. They think like children. So you can reiterate, you can teach that, you can teach, bring that to the table. Like you just said, the relational piece, you know what I mean? The co-parenting. I mean, he's probably already doing it. Glenn's got his program doing that, but that's always important. I mean, co-parenting, because they don't know what that is. They don't care. They just want to either hopefully be able to take care of their kid, pay off that debt that they owe, but that's really on their mind. A lot of them are punched out in that area. They don't even see the real important need. They on the welfare of the kid. They're not on the well-being of the kid. You know what I mean? I think that's a major problem. I mean, that's a great concept. I mean, because kids, yeah, they
Yeah,
need
that's
to
a
go
real
back.
thing. Need it.
Yeah,
I know that.
Necessary because a lot of
Yeah.
people they don't even know what it's like to be in a healthy relationship. These kids
Or
have
what healthy
dysfunctional
relationship
relationships
is,
even as teenagers.
or what a healthy relationship is, which I will probably state it is probably not a healthy relationship to be driven by these insatiable desires. Or, you know, if you're looking at it, let me ask you guys this. If you're looking at a woman, and one thing if you were talking to a young man and he's constantly just he wants to hit it because he just want to hit it. That's what guys like to do, especially young guys. They want to hit it. Would you say that would he be in a healthy relationships because of those thoughts? Those thoughts mean unhealthy relationship?
No,
no, those are just hormones.
Right.
I feel like that's a
Oh.
natural. It's a natural thing for men to want to engage in sex, just like women. Now, please don't get it twisted. Women want to have sex just like men
Of
want to
course.
have
Well,
sex.
women the one who initiated. Not the women
Oh,
initiate that
trust me,
stuff.
they do.
Right. But listen, I got a shirt, right? On my shirt, you know, I got shirts, right? It says fatherlessness is the cause of poverty.
Yeah.
Because what it is, without that father figure in the household, that the kid, because I'm telling you, my household, my dad put fear in me so bad. I didn't start having sex till I was 19. I think that was a law, and all the girls thought I was having sex because I was fronting like I was, you know, because nobody wanted to be, you a virgin and all that. But my dad and my mom, they were so tough on us in the house. You know, people snuck around, did it. I was scared. I said, nah, man. Girls used to be like, yo, you're a punk. I'm like, yeah, I am a punk then. Because I cannot go home.
Now I will tell you this. Most guys who lose their virginity, older woman. So I do believe women be that culprit on the down low. But I got a question about child support. Kia was like, well, what about the child support fraud when dads be lying about jobs? I mean, I think that's what we're talking. It's like this thread. I'm trying to lay a thread throughout the whole conversation. These poo putts. First of all, what I define a poo putt? That would probably be a poo putt. The guy that's going to lie about his job to avoid paying. So I guess if I can nip the mindset off at the head, because now you saw her, she was banging in the club. You couldn't wait to hit it. You done hit it. Boom, you hit it like 5-6 times, kept coming back, raw dog with your crazy self. Now she pregnant. And now you acting like you don't want to take care of the baby. Like, what is that? Now, how do you recognize, what would you guys say to recognize that poo puttiness, like Monette say, poo puttiness, the poo putty? What is the signs of a poo putt? Is it the ones that want to hit it every 5 minutes? Or give me some other signs of the poo putt, knowing we know poo putt. But sometimes we be in our own imagination thinking that you somebody else that you not for like them first 30 days. And I don't even think people waiting that long.
But most times when before people have sex, right? Most times they're under the influence of
True.
either alcohol
Blame it
or
on the
weed
alcohol.
or something, because some of them are afraid to
Fact.
do that. You know, they don't do it.
They get
They
that
just-
courage.
Right. They say, oh yeah, now they get that in them. They go on like raw dogs, like both. So that's a lot of times it's encouraged because of the under the influence.
So maybe
Most
that
cases.
is it.
You know
Maybe,
what I mean?
but the influence is now over. You is grown up the next day, awoke, and you know she might be pregnant in a few months. I don't think the alcohol gonna make you be a deadbeat dad.
Exactly.
What you
No,
gonna
no,
say,
no,
Paul?
not a deadbeat dad, but I'm just saying engaging in that activity.
Right.
To engage in that activity.
Okay, which is the point. So you do have unprotected sex because now you're intoxicated and you feel uninhibited and y'all just go at it. Well, the
Right.
baby's born now. Why aren't you responsible now to take care of your child?
Because he's not a man.
Well,
He's not a
we know
man.
that.
That's why.
Exactly.
But
So
you can't expect a man, and I don't want to say 100% of the time, but how you expect him to be a man today if ain't nobody show him how to be one?
Right. So it's a because the woman know he ain't no man. The woman know he got something in his pants.
nobody showed them how to have sex, did they?
No, they didn't.
Exactly.
They felt it.
I'm gonna promise you. I promise you. Listen now.
He learned how to have sex. Now learn how to be a father.
Right.
So here's what I know. I remember one of my son's father. I won't say no names, but ever since the first time I met him, I was like, I was like this with my face, like, what?
You knew he was poop
What's wrong
from
with
the
him?
beginning.
He was definitely poop putt from the beginning. I knew it. So I wasn't even dealing with him. He hounded, and then one day you get them lonely feelings. Put loneliness in your curriculum.
Right.
I don't, you know, that's a feeling that only God can feel. But obviously on this night, I was feeling mighty low. I was feeling mighty lonely. And I called this guy. I was like, let's have a drink. Lie. Knowing good and well in my mind what that means. Let's have a drink.
Right.
We was at some bar in Long Island, New York. I had at least 12 shots of tequila. At least. I floated out of it.
Couldn't feel your body.
I had my vampire cape on. I floated out of the bar. I don't even know how I got to I went down the street. You know that hotel over there on 110 Broad Hollow going to the Adventureland. That ain't it's not better. No, hell, come on now. Not the damn Saranara. But that hotel, either way, I couldn't drive home. He was so drunk. I thought he was gonna die from alcohol poison.
Wow.
I left him at the hotel. And I'm telling all my scandalous business.
I mean, hey,
however,
clean.
I didn't even know we did anything.
Wow.
Anything. I didn't even know we did anything because I left. I done made my own dumb decisions. And I can't, if I had to zero in, I can say from right what Glenn said, my dad was not there. He was not there to tell me, you beautiful. You know, you're all that a man would ever or could ever dream of or handle, or you are valuable. And don't you ever let a man, if he left a standard, I would have never had to look for one, because I sure enough was coming up empty-handed for the most part. But I know clearly the lack of my father being present in my life to tell me these things caused me to look for it. Most of the men were at least 12 to 15 years older than me. Also, I was 28, they 40, old men, geezers. And it's just like, so, you know, and my dad was a good man. He was a good man. He was, you know, had some drug challenges. So I think the drug thing definitely, because I know we used to take care of our kids. We were there in the house taking care of our kids. Old school, we was there. But when they put that damn crack in our streets, that tore our neighborhoods and our families up. So, you know, I'm going to blame the white man, Glenn. I'm coming right around the corner. I'm going to blame him. because at some point in time, every time we were like doing good, something would come in to just tear us down. And that crack took us out. It sent us on a whole trajectory, down a whole pathway. What was crack in the 80s, 30? What is that? What is that?
80s.
What is it?
79,
20, 50? Is it? What
78,
is it? 20?
Crack was in
79.
the
So
80s. Crack
79,
was in the 80s.
that's almost 50. That's almost 50
79
years
when
ago.
Richard Pryor was the first one that got exposed.
He was taking
I'm
crack.
just saying.
Yeah, when he blew it,
Yeah, he
had
was
the blue
smoking
tank
that crack.
lighter. His
Yeah.
whole body caught a fire.
But you
There-
know-
No.
Go ahead.
there's no doubt that all of this play into the Black community, where you have an alcohol store on every corner,
Right.
and
Come on.
there's no doubt about that. All those things are real. At some point in time, though, we still have to take personal responsibility, and you can't blame your dad for at 28 years old you keep taking bad mistakes, and you saying I do that because I wasn't affirmed because of my dad.
But you
At some
don't
point
know
in time-
what you don't know, Glenn. You
And that
don't
thing-
know.
But you don't know what you don't know, but you do know you're not ready to have a child.
But
And you do
ain't
know what
trained.
happens if you
That's
have
some
What
a
if you don't
training.
wanna-
That's some training that has to happen. You know what I mean? Because when you're a child, when you're a young adolescent, when you thinking with your body parts, when a man approaches a girl or woman, man, that feeling is crazy. So how do you deal if nobody's teaching you how to combat that feeling? You ain't gonna know. You just
Yeah,
gonna
but
get in it.
And I get that. But when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids,
That's
you can't no longer blame the system. You
I
can't
know,
blame
but
your
it's-
dad. You can't blame nobody but your inability to control yourself and your inability to make good decisions. Because obviously you continue to make bad choices that you call them mistakes. That's my point.
I think the churches should have had sex education. I think the churches that house all of these people, they should have had some programs talking to
I
these
believe
kids
that.
or these women and these men. They don't have that
I
in
believe
there.
that. I believe that.
The
but
church
took the
still
approach-
having a problem talking about sex.
Right.
Right.
I
I
was
don't
gonna
want to
say
talk
the
about
church
sex if you're not
took the
married. If you're not
abstinence
married,
route.
you better not
Yeah.
say the word sex, okay?
Because pastor doing him. That's why he ain't
Yeah.
talking about that. So
Yeah.
so it's
That's
a
true.
lot.
I agree. I think that's absolutely spot on, because if the government is not going to do it in class, and because they could take it out of class, if we know there's fatherless homes that not this teaching is not going to get there, or it may be some gaps, then I would say it's up to the community leaders and
Right.
the nonprofits and the churches out there to absolutely ensure,
Do you know what? There's people who drink and drive every day.
true.
There's people who beat up their wives every day. What deterred that sometimes is you are mandated to go to an anger management class, or you are mandated to go to a domestic violence class, or you're mandated to go to a drunk driver's class. You're mandated to go to that, and you learn the education about what it calls drunk driving and what that does.
Right.
We don't have mandated programs
Like
only
forever.
for fathers. It's only like there's not a whole lot of court systems. And what we need to do to make a difference in that is start legislating that courts, before you put people in jail, mandate them to go to a fatherhood class.
Right.
That's where it might start at.
Right.
Focus our money and get to the legislator and start lobbying y'all, because like I said, 95% of the guys that come to our program are mandated by the court, because as in general, men, we don't volunteer to go to stuff. Women, y'all can go to stuff again. We don't do self-help a lot. We don't go to the doctor till stuff falling off.
Right.
If you stop working, then we'll go to the doctor. But that's who we are. So these guys, when it comes to our program, they're mad, but they're mandated to go. And check this out. Only 30% of them are mandated to go show up. The other 60%, because they would still want to go to jail, or they would still find a way to beat the system.
Right.
But if just imagine that if every child support, every 100 counties in North Carolina had a mandated program to send these fathers to when they're not being good fathers, you might see a lot of this stuff go away.
Right.
Because
Well, that's on the
it's
policy agenda.
it's the absence of fathers.
It's a done deal. That's a policy agenda.
Yeah, it's the
Right.
absence of fathers that causes a whole lot of stuff in our community. It's the absence of fathers.
Right.
But let me ask you
Because
this. I guess also we need to probably, I mean, there's initiatives, there's data out there. I don't need to go reinvent no data. I'm sure your organization has looked up the data and the stats that talks about what homes without fathers produce.
yes, we
So
have.
when we go to push our
Yeah, when you if you
agenda,
yeah, if you go to our website, there's a whole lot of there's about 8 or 9 statistics. In fact, we have one class. Like last night, I taught the class on statistics, and these guys sit there. They felt bad. It's a hard class because when you look at 90% of kids who run away from their homes, 90% of them come from fatherless homes. Or when you look at 80% of rapists come from fatherless homes. A 71% of kids at high school dropout come from fatherless homes. When you start looking at statistics, and we take every one of those statistics and we break it down to the men, and at the end of the class, they feel bad. But you know what? That's okay for them to feel bad. Just don't feel bad. Now get up and do something about it, because your failure as a father can distribute that your kid's been a failure.
Right.
And when you start to wear that, it changes your concepts. It changes your mindset about a father, because you can no longer blame the system. You can blame it to some degree, but you bear a great responsibility of your child not being healthy because you chose not to be present.
Right. Because you're showing them that mirror.
Yes.
In that mirror.
And they look at it and they say, now they get mad with the system because the system ordered them to come. But by the 4th class, they go from this to up here, because now they're getting it. They understand the importance of being a father and how I contribute to my kids' life by being there, or how the devastation that I would cause them by not being there. And they understand it, and they graduate.
Do you guys have sessions where it's like that, what do they call that, intervention, where like the children come and the mom come and can talk to the fathers? Because I can't imagine a father facing all of that guilt for the first time, or realizing all of that guilt in a classroom and then having to deal with that. You know, that's enough to just be like,
And that's why we have the one-on-ones.
Much.
We have the focus coach, which is a one-on-one person who comes along and get these guys on an individual basis and help them walk through some of the process. We pointed out, I don't want you to stay there, but I want you to feel the weight of your absence.
Right.
And once you start feeling the weight of that, it changes your mindset. It changes your concepts. It changes your perspective of, maybe nobody told you that your presence was necessary. Maybe nobody told you what it was to be a good father. Now you heard it. And so when we do these classes, then we talk about destiny and purpose. But if you don't recognize the destiny in you, if you don't understand the gifts in you, it's hard to carry it to point it out into your child. And if you're not there, you can't point it out in your child. But you have to recognize the purpose, the destiny, and you is probably the same gift that's in your child, that's inside of you. So we talk to them about, being able to be in that presence of how to really cultivate and help these gifts come out. And another very important point is not only getting along with the kid, but getting along with the ex-wife. A lot of times the problem is not that they don't love each other, they don't love their kids. It's their father and the mom cannot come together and co-parent. And we teach a lot about that. That's why I wrote the book, When Love Is Not Enough, because women need to get this book as well, because they're the problem too. You get mad with him because he got a new girlfriend, and now all of a sudden you won't let him see his child. It's childish, it's immature, but they do it. Or the guy say, you know what? You got a new boyfriend. Excuse my French now, but let that nigga pay for the bills. Let him give you the money.
So then that goes to like the emotion.
There's enough blame on both sides.
Right.
There's enough to go around.
But the fathers really, really need to know, if she got a glass of water, and I get an illustration all the time, and you take the top off, and I got the glass of water down here, and it's leaking. It's leaking. The water's leaking out. And I'm on the floor, mopping up the waters, trying to clean off the table. and I forgot to stand the glass up. And the glass is the father. If you don't stand the glass up, or water up, it's going to continue to leak. And we're trying to clean up the girls, the women. We're trying to clean up the kids, but it's the father's the problem.
Right.
His absence.
Yes, father is the
So
problem.
we've got to
And
figure out.
interestingly enough, well, I believe that. I mean, we're out of time, but I do believe that the fathers is definitely the problem. However, what do we benefit from not supporting fathers? And if the fathers are the problem, is it the problem only in our races, or do we disproportionately represent those systems where
Yes,
they are
yes,
feeding off of the
yes,
pain and the
yes,
consequences of
yes,
not having
yes,
these fathers?
yes,
And what if
yes,
intentionally that is the plan? If I could keep the fathers away, I
yes,
can ensure that we
yes,
will continuously have this
yeah,
hamster wheel of dysfunction.
yeah.
And
Right.
so, even though we were leading in with big butts and poop putts, it's just breaking down the thought behind this subculture to get to the most rawest piece. I love it because
Yeah.
Dr. McTarian said it best. You can't be a father unless you know how to be a son. And I think this message for all of the men out there listening, you got to be a son. And God is our father. And maybe you just really dislike him right now. Maybe you are not feeling him because you think your life is a living hell. Trust and believe at the end of the day, you're going to have to eat that pill. You're going to have to swallow it, because at the end of the day, it's you. You made the decision. You made the choice. You had the power to make a different one and you didn't. But today
Edu-
you have the power to make a different choice.
Education. I think somebody. I can't remember who was it. Was it James or um, my mind just went blank. Somebody talked about education, and education, the parenting part,
Yeah.
but don't just need to be taught in high school. If you get a divorce, in my opinion, you should be made to go to a parenting class
Right.
that live what you're waiting, because now you understand the importance of co-parenting and you have some keys. I coach couples all the time. One of the reasons why I went back and got my coaching certificate is because I want to teach parents who separated now how to be good co-parents together. You don't like each other. That's all well and good. That's fine. But you got 3 kids now. You got to raise together. And so giving you tips of not fighting one another, but fighting for the benefit of your child. Those are the things that you see these couples now. When you sit in the courtroom and you see all that stuff go on, then one of the kids, and Raquel, you're 100% right. I don't understand. I know we got to go, but I'm in the court system and I look, and there are 95% of the men and women, the men in the child support court are African American. I don't understand it. I know white folks ain't paying their child support. I know Hispanics not paying their child support. But why is it that 95% of the people in the child support court are African American men? I haven't figured that out yet.
There's a target.
I don't know what it is.
There's
Well,
a
I'm gonna tell
target.
you, I know one part of it has to do with the welfare system, because the welfare system has been making the women take the fathers to court in order, in exchange for those benefits.
Well, you know, the white folks on welfare too.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna promise you this one thing. I know right now those little Kushites that's sitting behind them little glass doors in the welfare offices, I promise you, they are real selective on what they say when they say it. The same case worker that told me I had to come out of school in order to get this stupid benefit check because they wasn't gonna pay for me to become an employee. Same.
But you know what? The other cases, 35% of the cases
came from out of school. Wait, what'd you say?
Probably 65 to 75% of the caseworkers are black. So I wouldn't say that, it's a white social worker only choosing the black people to bring them to court.
No. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you right now. You are so right. The white people are the white folks. They're the ones. They're the directors. They're the agency directors. They're the policy analysts. They're the ones that's doing the reporting. They're the one who's coming into the staff meeting, telling and giving the directives of the team. They are the ones who are saying that these things have to be done this way. And so you follow the sheet of music. That's how that goes. Because I know right now, too, here in DC right now, big, huge welfare organizations that get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they are supposed to be in the business of moving women to self-sufficiency, and the tactics tactics that we help women use, they always blocking them. I can't even get in the agency simply because they've already told me, yeah, no, yeah, no. Like, yeah, you sound great, you sound wonderful, but no. Yeah, I know we say we out to really get them into self-sufficiency, but we not. And so herein lies, but I'm like, well, I got the Great Escape course. That's another free download via the Billionaire. Go get yourself free. It's free. Get yourself free. You want to be free because price is not going to be the reason why you rejected this kind of knowledge and information. I can promise you that. However, at the end of the day, the pain, when Glenn said all of these stats about fathers, the pain and the consequences that is caused, and the people that are benefiting from this pain, I promise you, it's the same people that it's like you cause the problem and try to fix it, but these people ain't trying to fix this thing. Trust me. Listen, I am in circles where I am told, Raquel, we can't do that. I am told by major organizations, and I may put their ass on blast when it's time, but then they don't F with me now. They like, we love you. We think your work is great, but you gonna get us all broke. Excuse my language. But they like, listen, I like my bread and butter. You about to tear my whole money stream up. And I'm like, I can't even believe that they'll tell me this. Well, you chose that road. It was lonely. You chose it.
Listen,
and I'm like, yo, so here we are playing this merry-go-round, but the gig is up. The time is over for the merry-go-round, for this whole everybody in the name. Because listen, if you out here trying to move people into self-sufficiency and people ain't moving, you need to go find something else to do. You are not good at your job. This is the shout out to all the nonprofit organizations out there. Now everybody want to be on equity and inclusion. Go sit your asses down somewhere. You just a part of the problem. You really ain't trying to.
But listen, Raquel.
You are part of this problem.
The biggest problem in our community. The biggest problem, and I don't care who says different. I know what it is because I grew up in the church. The church. If we can't come together,
we the church,
right? But you already know what I mean. An organization, the organization that if the 501(c)(3) that, you know what I mean. If we don't come together, if that don't come together, ain't no community. Because most people are in church.
Thinking that this man is supposed to be my correlation to God. And if what kind of God is y'all living, if y'all gonna keep going from your church into Caesar's palace to continue oppressing these people and holding these people at bay in these programs. So I doubt anybody, I ain't gonna say anybody, but there's a lot of people that just can't hear clearly. You ain't hearing from the throne of grace. You ain't hearing from the king. You ain't hearing from the king because the king, he's not switching up that language like that. So the church and the organism, I can't expect the people to do nothing more than what they are. Dr. McTarian said it best. A seed can only produce after its own kind. You plant apples, you're gonna get apples. You plant bananas, you're gonna get bananas. You plant baby, you're gonna get a baby.
Listen, I know deacons, I know men, I know deaconess, I know ministers, I know
and they
deacons.
Just as toe up.
They got so many kids, they owe child support. Listen, it's cracked over.
So then guess what? You got to take the deacon off. The deacon is irrelevant. They still got that broken mindset just because they went to deacon school.
So
you poo putty deacon poo putty. You the deacon poo putty. I want to make sure that what I know is as we unveil and move forward, because this is just the very, very beginning. It's just conversation, you guys. But eventually this thing is going to turn up. It's going to turn way up. Trust. It's only very soon before it turns way up. And we just want to make sure you guys got access to all the goods that you're going to need to get yourself free. Get yourself free. Let's take our lives back from the system. Let's stop depending on government to do everything. Let's just do better.com.
It's on Facebook.
About, no faith in the Black churches, no trust. Like the police, true. That was from India.
And also, India also said,
India, I love you.
Glenn, that your course needs to be virtual ASAP. She said, Mr. Moore, you need a virtual class ASAP.
It is. It's called Father Forever University. Type it in the chat. Father Forever University is virtual.
Well, let's put the link in the thing.
Father Forever
so Father's what? Fathers
Forever
Forever University. Is it a cost?
Yes, but we got scholarships. We're working on getting some
There's
scholarships.
scholarships. Party people, do y'all hear? Get your lives together. Listen, and I'm gonna implore some of these ladies. I know you probably got a real jacked up relationship with your son's father. You know, maybe just call the truth. Send the white flag out. He poo putty. He saw your big butt. Together at one point, it was all cool. It was cool at some point. Come together and just say, listen, we're mature enough. I could communicate this. Let's take Fathers Forever. Let's take this course. Let's just sit and listen to the course. Let's take the course and invest in yourself. Y'all out here, we could buy Starbucks and all kind of coffee beans and all kind of sneakers. Invest in yourself. Get the tools that will make you grow personally. Personal development. Get it. Invest in you, invest in yourself, because you will be the strongest part for your children.
We have the 12 classes. Now we got a textbook. It's called I Am a Father of Heaven. Textbook will be out in a couple of weeks. It's got 12 classes with homework assignments, and we discussed those classes in our live Zoom on Thursday nights or Saturday mornings. They have to go read the chapter, and we come back and we discussed it, and so now we got a textbook. You know what? We're in school. You took an English class. You had to have a textbook. There is a Father Forever textbook now that we're going to use. That's a book that anybody can buy the book. You don't have to be a part of the university to buy a book. But
well, I'm gonna also say this for all the city councils out there, county commissioners out there. If you are listening to this, all the judges, everybody that works in social services, if you work for child and family services, it is your duty and your responsibility to ensure that programs like Fathers Forever are mandatory, even before a child support order is rendered. I believe fathering a parenting course should be proctored, facilitated somewhere to curb this. If you guys are really interested in curbing what we're seeing, don't talk Black systemic nothing. Don't do systemic nothing if we're not going to pay attention to the core, the heartbeat that is feeding the system in its fatherless homes. And so our goal is to move 1 million moms off welfare. And guess what? You can't do that without taking care of the needs of fathers.
I put
so with all of that being said,
our goal also is to get 1 million fathers in a fatherhood program.
All right. 1 million moms off welfare.
So we got it. So with that, that's why we're gonna talk on Friday. I'm coming to Raleigh, y'all. We're gonna talk on Friday and see what that looks like. 1 million dads and 1 million fathers, 1 million dads, in the fatherhood program, something.
Yeah.
But see, Glenn, that's why, I really haven't left that child support thing alone, because even though we're going to pay for those things for the lobbyists, or not lobbyists, because you're nonprofits, so you're not supposed to lobby, but an advocate to promote some kind of education, some kind of policy change, for sure. You can have some lobbying, but not a lot.
There's a question. You see the question from James? He says, is that given to men in prison, meaning your book, Glenn?
That's good too.
We have a book called Dads at a Distance. Really? Those are guys that incarcerated, but it's the same curriculum, but we just kind of shortened it a little bit for the guys that's incarcerated, where we give them tips how to be a dad incarcerated.
Yo, that's dope. Now, Dads at a Distance is dope. Where's that?
We're working on that book now.
Okay,
so soon
but
it comes.
I think he's talking about the books that you have now. Are they being given to
yes, we right now
they're incarcerated for child support?
Yes, we're working on getting some to Wake County to get the virtual class into Wake County. So yeah, we could take these classes anywhere we want to go at, because now all you need is a Zoom and an internet, and we can take these classes.
Do you guys have a Fathers Forever coaching course where people can become coaches to coach within the Fathers Forever umbrella?
Not yet, but we have some one-on-one coaches where these guys coach the guys in our program. They do one-on-one coaches with them.
Do they have some kind of background? Like, what are the coaches? What are their backgrounds? Do they have like some kind of degree, or
yeah.
Anybody? Okay.
Yeah. So we're training them how to do that. So we're also working on a facilitators manual now, where we're going to be training I can't
the
teach it all.
trainer.
So we're going
Right.
to be
That's what
training
I
the
was about to
trainer.
say. You can't train that.
Yes,
You can do
we're
that.
going to be training the trainer how to take this program now and take it to their community. I take it to their church. I take it to their jail. To start the fatherhood program, and we give them the keys. And now you can take it to your start your own fatherhood program.
True. That's dope. That's
That's
dope.
gonna change the narrative for where we are is education and
Yeah.
getting these men into these programs, which is not enough of. There's very few in between, and not just a fatherhood program that just to say it, but something that's got some teeth in it. It's got some practical, evidence based, stuff that's just really is really working that could really change lives. And because there's some men programs out here. That's why a lot of courts they kind of lost faith in these kind of programs because they're not really sufficient. They just show up and say we got a fatherhood program, and they'll talk about things that's not and everybody just come in there and just talk about the ex-wives, but that's not really been benefiting and showing them how to be a father. And so that's why we have been working for the last 12 years. And because of COVID, if we shut down, which forced us to take our program virtually. What that's been in my mind ever since day one.
Yeah.
We didn't have time to do it. We didn't take the time to do it. But when we shut it down, we came up with a way to do it. And now it's live and as well. And we got we've been doing it for the last 4 or 5 months. But now we got most of the kinks out. And now we're going to hit the ground running now with the textbook coming out. Now we got it all that we can start classes. And our goal is to have classes all day, every day. I may be in Johnson County did it tomorrow. I may be in Wake County on Thursday. I could be in Franklin County on Wednesday, and having all these classes, not only child support court, but domestic violence court, or early childhood intervention, because these fathers still need to be a part of their kids' life. Our social service.
I would definitely, outside of whatever monies you guys spend, take 20% and put just in marketing. Because believe it or not,
Yeah.
people just don't know about it. I will hire like a digital marketer, an intern. There's a website. We haven't used the service yet, but we're about to use Acadium. It's a new type of social. All they do is social media, like digital marketers. You could get one for it's so low, like $33 a month. But for you have to sign on for I think 3 months at a time. And so I know we got 3 interns for $1,000 for the year.
Wow.
And they just work on put Acadium in the chat box and online. Because I think that's what it will just help so that people know, getting that team behind putting small videos together, 30 seconds. Did you, and just making it very inviting, because people just have to see, because you never know when they may come across, whether it's, I hate Facebook ads and YouTube ads. I hate all of those things, but I think we have a surprise. I don't think we're unveiling it yet. I think on July 5th. I don't know when we're unveiling it. I'm not gonna say. Yeah. But there's some exciting things happening that I think will bring a lot of attention to everything we're doing. And so our meeting is, to find out how we fit together, like our little caboose. My word.
Yeah. And we also, the scholarships we need, because these guys can't afford the $575 it costs to come to the class.
How much?
Which include $575, which include the textbook, includes the coaching session, the one-on-one session, and it also includes the 12 class. It's only like $35 a class. But these guys can't afford that. So we got to get scholarships now, because somebody's got to pay for it. We got to pay the staff. We got to pay those things. We got to, all that stuff has got to be paid for. But we can't expect these guys to pay it because they can't afford to do it.
Not initially in the beginning.
Yeah,
but that's what we could also work on that Friday to kind of just figure out, based on the model that we'll create or present, how we could go after foundations. We seek out foundations specifically who will support this endeavor. Yeah. So I know we just hired a grant writer. Shout out to SparkPoint. SparkPoint is a fantastic grant writer here in the district. They come highly recommended. and is it called Spark Point Fundraising?
Okay. Text that
But
to me.
I would let them know, huh?
Text that to me.
Oh yeah, Spark Point, Monet, put that in that group chat about Spark Point Fundraising. Let me see. And
Also,
then we could actually, I will let her know to start looking at certain grants that has a fatherhood lens to it. Let's see, Spark Point Fundraising. Yep, it's just sparkpoint.com, but it's spark-point.com. Yeah, I'm big on we're not recreating the wheel. If he got an aspect, I got an aspect, you got an aspect, Anthony. We all have an aspect. We just gonna put it together because we're not reinventing the wheels, because we the best who ever did this right now.
It took us 12 years to get where we are now.
Yeah.
But if I can help somebody get there by the material that I already put together, and they could go out and take the class and take the training and immediately start teaching the class.
Right.
We teaching more men now. We reaching more men. It won't
Right.
take you 12 years to do what we already done the work. We already did
Right.
the legwork. We already got the stats. That we already got the track record. You know, we already got the reference. We already got the guys that lives has been changed. You can take this fatherhood program now and go start your own and teach these men. You know, and every 12 weeks you do another class. There's 12 more classes that you're touching these guys in the community. And
that's really how you do it. And
that's going to make
and it really kind of is a soft franchise type thing, but you pay license fee to Fathers Forever, and you get the policies, all of that he just said. And so we should be starting that. Let him be your first pilot to see how it works and see what work can be done if two go out there in the name, pushing this one curriculum, doing this one thing, because even if he's doing it out here and he's bringing people into the main lobby where he may have to take on some classes too, but at least, you know, there's a percentage of revenues shared across somewhere to pay him for his time. So I think that we need to really consider that, you know, to where we can, because it's not going to work if we work by ourselves. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Go ahead.
Yes, before we go, YouTube, like us on YouTube, subscribe to our page. No, we got a couple of subscribers in the last couple weeks.
8 months later.
I'm gonna put the link in our chat. Please. So you can go ahead and like it. Invite your friends to like it. We want to be able to broadcast via YouTube so even more people can interact with us.
This is what I
like us on Facebook as well. Can I Live podcast?
Listen, what we gotta do, like now at this point, it's a joke at this point. It's not even funny. It is already June 15th. By June 30th, we need to have 100. I think it's like 20 something people. We will airdrop the link, put the link wherever in your phone, wherever you are, get to your class, tell your class to go like the podcast. Not sharing this stuff inward with our circles is unacceptable. We gotta. And I'm going to put it out to my classmates in my entrepreneurship program. And by the time we come back here next week, we need to have 100, because we got 20 people in our network that we could get to like a daggone YouTube page. We can't go live on YouTube without it. So what we, you know,
and this is great information for other people, even the people that are the gentlemen, the fathers that are in your class. You're dropping nuggets in here every week.
We got 72 subscribers.
Gotcha.